And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for Night 2 recap and reaction from WrestleMania 41 with the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia, and new Wenz World Prediction Champion, Vincent Kennedy Bucci, and on his way, on the road to Damascus, blinded by the light, is the one and only Damascian Lycan. Welcome back to Wenz World, gents. We recapped night 1 where things went swimmingly for our former champion, Damascus Dez. But night 2 saw a swerve in the outcome, so let's get to it. First match was Io Sky taking on Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Io Sky retained. You guys both called this. I got swerved by Bianca getting in this match. I thought they had plans for her for another reign, but great swerve. Thoughts on this match? I thought it was a fantastic match. It could have gone any way at numerous times. Another great example of good booking.
Absolutely, I love this triple threat match. And it definitely made me feel like it was setting the stage for me to just continue swimming through this championship with the championship on my shoulder. And oh god, but it was fun. It was a great match. It ended the way it needed to. You couldn't have Io be pinned by Rhea in for the first time in a triple threat match. It just wouldn't work. You couldn't giving the belt back to Rhea at all would be terrible after she just lost it to Io in the first place. Bianca getting it at this point, I feel like realistically, because of all the looking past Io from Bianca and Rhea, Io needed this to get her comeuppance at this point. It was one of those, she needed this win to truly solidify her as a main eventer in the women's division. And to me, this was exactly what it needed to be. And I wasn't completely 100% sure about this one when I called it, but it was very much one that I felt like this is the way it needed to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Booch, your thoughts, champ.
Perfect match to open the show. For the simple fact that the build-up to this match was so horribly done that walking in that way, because from the chamber to Mania, everything was, what the fuck is wrong with Triple H? I said that a million times. And I will say this, the match delivered, and that was really what it was. It was like one of those things where you're watching this horrible build-up, but then the bell rings and you're like, okay. And that's the advantage, is that when the bell rings, if you can deliver, people will forgive the horrible build-up if you get to the end, if the end game works. So, and the end game did work here, and the way they end, it was another one of those triple threat matches that flowed very well, which again blew me away. Because, like I said, I'm not a triple threat kind of person, but this did very well. And then if Io Sky was gonna win, that was the perfect way to do it. The over the moonsault to break everything up, pinning Bianca Belair because she shouldn't have been in the match to begin with, and not for the reasons that the marks claim is it. It's because there was no story here. That was what people were upset about. It's like, there's no story. The match made up for the lack of story. So that's why it's getting a pass, because the match delivered. And these three women delivered in this match, even Io Sky. So, like I said, it was a very well done match. It was the perfect match to open the show because it had the least interesting story. So even if it was short, it's a get in, get out. But it wasn't. It set the tone for the Mania and did a very good job. And I have no idea where they're going from here, but let's see. But the match delivered.
I do want to offer kind of a counter perspective, aka disagree with you, Booch, on the believability of Bianca being in that match. I mean, did she not win at Elimination Chamber?
No, yeah, that's the kayfabe reason.
I don't know what she shouldn't have. That was a terrible. The second that Jade came back, Bianca should have never have even been looked at as a contender.
That's an interesting perspective, and I'm excited to see what happens between Jade and Naomi and Bianca, et cetera, as they move on. But I guess I'm just a little baffled that creative would take such a bold risk and let her win at Elimination Chamber and then have her take the pin just because Rhea is the other competitor in this match. Like, if it
Well,
weren't
in all
Rhea.
fairness,
Mhm.
Bianca is not going to be buried by a single loss. It's just not going to happen. And this is one of those situations where uh, both Bianca and Rhea have lost to EO in the past. This is not a big deal. Um, all three of these women are top tier. So it's not an issue. Her taking a loss in this match was not a big deal. The big deal is that she shouldn't have been in the match. She should have been going against Jade Cargill instead of Naomi.
Hmm.
Because that's where the money is. There was no money to be made in this match. It just made noise. It made positive noise, but still noise. Like this was like a, hey, enjoy this kickoff to Mania, and then here comes what's next. That's pretty much what it was. But also, as Desmond mentioned before, Rhea Ripley's never beaten Io Sky. So there's a story with that. So that's why Bianca taking the pin worked. That's also why I was not too thrilled with Seth pinning Roman necessarily, because I felt like there was a story there. But anyway, that's me and I won. But I'm saying that's why this worked. Because Rhea and Io still have a story to tell. Rhea was not pinned or submitted, so she has a reason to chase Io. And if Rhea does take the title back from her, it's her redemption. So they have a story for the title. Bianca, her story is what's going on between Jade and Naomi, and is Bianca on Naomi's side, or is she still a babyface? That's the story we need to figure out.
I love that. No, and that's a great answer to a simple question. Like, that makes sense the way you broke that down. And that is why you are the wrestling encyclopedia and resident prediction champion. Uh, guys, this next match kind of like threw me for a loop, and I couldn't quite figure out how or why we all got swerved because literally it changed the whole complexion of our predictions for this match. And also, where was Bailey? And why Becky? I mean, it's great that it's a return, but like I told Booch before we got the show started, had you told me Becky was returning, I would have selected her and whoever else was on her team to win. Liv and Raquel against Becky and Lyra, and Becky and Lyra won, and then we saw what happened the next night, and Liv and Raquel win the belts back. We could talk about that after, but I wanted to bring that up because it doesn't make sense, and I'm confused, and I want to get y'all's thoughts on that. But also, the return of Becky Lynch, are you excited? Is there room for excitement? Is it just kind of like a, we'll see kind of thing in your minds? Y'all's thoughts on the WrestleMania match and moving forward with Becky Lynch.
This one, I've got feelings about. First off, I love Becky Lynch, 100%. I feel like this was a wasted time for her return, though. I feel like turning Bailey heel against Lyra made more sense because Bailey has lost so much momentum, and just having her being taken out before Mania just completely kills everything from her. Having her be taken out, and from what I understand, this was always planned. This was the plan, was to bring Becky in and keep Bailey out.
So did this happen on SmackDown?
No, night one of Mania, they showed they showed that Bailey had been attacked.
So it was a promo package during one of the breaks.
It was a backstage thing. I think was it during the pre-show or was it between matches? Vinny, do you remember?
Pre-show. It was the pre-show.
See, that's the kind of stuff that, like, you know, you can't do that. You know what I mean? At least do it on SmackDown. Like, if it happens on SmackDown, then I'm like, okay, we missed the boat because we recorded this before SmackDown even, you know, like whatever, some instances. But like, that's weird because then it just changes everything. But here we are. No, I have the ultimate respect for the man. Like, you know, she's great. I'm just a little confused about how this is going to pan out. I love the segment that we saw between her and Lyra. She's like, I'm not trying to be Becky Lynch. Like, you didn't make me, I made me, kind of thing. Separating herself from that expectation. And that's great. That's exactly what she needs to do. So, y'all's thoughts about her moving forward as well.
Well, my issues here. I mean, having Lyra versus Becky is going to be great. Potentially seeing Becky put her name on that championship uh, is a good way of building that up. But my issue here is that they drop the tag titles back to the Judgment Day girls, knowing that Liv isn't going to be around for a while because she's filming a movie. That's my issue. Is like there all these women who are in tag teams across NXT, SmackDown, and Raw, and they're going to put the titles back on the Judgment Day. It doesn't make sense if Liv's not going to be around.
Do we know how long she's going to be out for?
Probably just weeks, but still, I mean, I don't know exactly. Have you seen a schedule, Vinny?
I don't know. Ultimately, it depends on how big of a role she has. If it's a minor role, she might be gone for like a week or so. But if she's like a star, it could be weeks, it could be months, depending on how big the movie is. It depends on how much where she is on the thing. Is it like starring Liv Morgan, or is she like coming in for a cameo? So it depends.
Yeah, is it like one of those Cena films, or one of those like the Triple H, the one that Triple H made where he's like the babysitters, or one of the Rock films where he's gone for 5 months because it's like the Scorpion King kind of thing.
But it depends on how big of a role she has. Because if it's a small cameo role, it could be a week or two, depending on how many scenes she has to do. Or it could just be one day. And we don't know. It depends on if she's a starring role or if she's just in it. And is she a star? Is she a co-star? Is she just in for one scene? And you're just like, oh, that's Liv. And they cut to whatever it is. Like, it depends on what her schedule is. And I haven't seen anything film-wise for what she's doing. I just know that she'll be out for a while. As far as this tag match goes, I hate the fact that Bayley was taken out.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay with it if she got legitimately hurt like Rey Mysterio did. But because it was a kayfabe plan, and the fact that Bayley's getting fucked over like this is goddamn ridiculous. Also, like I said, they lose the belts, and then you give them right back the next day. It makes no sense. And on a personal level, it pisses me off. Like I said before, on listen, if Liv and Raquel had just retained, I'd have 2 belts right now. The only reason I don't have 2 belts is because Triple H is out of his rabid ass mind. More on that later. Mostly it's that. But being honest, it's a little bit of a personal thing with me. But I like Becky, and I feel like her and this women's intercontinental title, he'll definitely elevate it.
Yeah.
But you could have elevated it with Bayley too. Like like everybody's acting like Bayley is not a star, and she is. Like, this is a woman who has taken chicken shit and turned it into chicken salad more than any woman on the goddamn roster.
Bayley has done amazing things. If Bayley had room for this heel turn to work, have a different heel persona than she's had in the past, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
But they wasted it. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I love having Becky back. They could have brought Becky back to help Lyra against Bayley. I mean, there were options.
Do you like this version? Like, I would have liked heel Becky. You know, like
I'm not against heel Becky. I'm not. But I feel like it could have been one of those, we didn't have to have one or the other. We could have had heel Becky and heel Bayley. But now we're going to have face Bayley, who's already on a losing streak. When she returns, she's going to have to take over a fight with Becky. So what? Becky's going to take the title from Lyra, and then Bayley comes back and tries to to fight for the title for Becky, or is Lyra going to beat Becky? I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like the setup.
Yeah, it looks confusing. It's very cloudy right now, but I mean, they'll figure it out. But I think one of y'all said something very important, is the elevation of the women's Intercontinental Champion. And also, any updates on what's going on with the Women's United States Championship? Word came on the wire that there was a new champion. So
Zelina Vega beat Chelsea Green to win the title.
Okay, there we have it. You guys excited about that, or do you care?
I'm glad that Zelina Vega is finally getting a push that I feel like she has deserved for a few years now. Okay. Chelsea Green did a great job with the U.S. title. I'm not putting her down at all. I like Chelsea Green. She's annoying as hell, but that's kind of what her gimmick is about. If I liked her too much, she wouldn't be a great heel.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I like that Zelina Vega's finally getting a push because I feel like she's been on the back burner and was kind of getting the female Dolph Ziggler treatment.
Mm.
And now she's got a title, and maybe they'll have her do something with it.
The way you said the way that just came out, I was like, ouch. Like I felt that. Oh,
And I don't think it's a coincidence that she wins the title and her boyfriend comes back the same night.
wait, who's your boyfriend?
Aleister Black.
Oh, in real life? IRL?
Yeah,
They're dating.
Oh, wow.
They're dating.
they've
Oh.
have been for a few years now.
Do you like Booch? Do you like that Miz is tied up in this storyline? What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you're such a huge fan of his.
I mean, Black Mass is beautiful. I thought, just it was great. Miz doing what he does best, running his mouth.
The hell do you think you kook?
Boom, and just dropped it. I give Miz credit. He took that bump brilliantly. Like, he got kicked, he fell back, he was like stiff as a board. That dude did not move a single muscle when he hit that. It was just boom, and then he was like stiff, like boom, and out. Like, that was
Let's
good.
be real here, though. Let's be real here. Miz has never had a problem putting over new talent.
No, he hasn't.
100%.
It's not that I'm worried about that. I was just saying the bump looked good. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm not talking about the
I
bump
love it.
over.
It was great. He takes a good finisher.
Like, and then Aleister Black just sits there Indian style, just bam, and looking over at him. Beautiful. Beautiful. It was
Yeah.
great. So I'm not gonna lie, it was good. And although it is
But speaking of selling for a moment, can we just talk about the fact that Aleister Black has been selling that damaged eye for like 3 years?
oh my god.
It's very convincing. It's very convincing. Just gonna say it. It works. It's been working. So don't undo it.
He's carried that injured eye across promotions. I mean, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's commitment. That is commitment right there. We gotta keep moving here. Let's talk about the next one. All three of us picked Logan Paul. Look, he's meant for big things. AJ Styles is at that point in his career where he's going to be putting these younger talent over. You know, he's kind of like the bar, so to speak. No pun intended there. But here we are, and Logan Paul, as we talked about, if you didn't see it, check out the Night 1 recap. He's beefing now with Jey Uso. That's going to be sexy. I can't wait for that spot fest at Backlash. And moving forward, you know it's going to be there. But this match, gentlemen, it didn't disappoint. What did I say? This is no revelation. Logan Paul is a star. Logan Paul deserves time. Logan Paul, if he chooses to, will eventually be the WWE champion. And I'm ready for it. Like, do it now. Just strip Jey Uso. But next week, I'm cool. Go ahead. Logan Paul, you're my guy. Go for it. I know that's not a very popular take, but none of y'all were wanting Jey Uso to win. It was just a matter of choose the lesser of two evils, you know?
I disagree. I said from the beginning that I like the idea of Jey Uso as champion. I just don't want him to be a long-term champion. I've said that I like him as champion as a short-term.
Or what
On the
define short term? 3 months, 6 months?
3 to 6, anywhere in that range. And he should not be champion past Survivor Series.
Okay. Fair enough. What say you, Booch?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I do like the idea of Logan Paul being world champion. You know, it's going to be an interesting match. We have the irritating force being the unlikable object. So there, you know, and but I'm gonna say this, and I want this. Can we please, if anybody WWE watches this, I need you to send a memo to every WWE superstar. Can we please, for the love of Christ, stop calling Logan Paul a YouTuber and an outsider? How many times do you have to outshine, outclass, and outdraw you motherfuckers before you stop with the YouTuber comments? If he's a YouTuber and you're using that as an insult, it says even less about you. Because he's doing the one thing that a lot of the guys that are calling him YouTubers can't do, which is sell tickets and draw money. So can we please just put that to bed? He is a wrestler, and he is out
In all fairness,
a lot of you.
they called The Miz a reality show star for like 6 years of his career.
Right.
To which I will counteroffer, he does have a reality show called Miz and Mrs. So he hasn't really left.
Well, no, but that came much later. That was like 10 years into the career. Okay, it was all about the tough enough bullshit in the beginning, and it's like, come on, at some
Real world too.
a real world.
Yeah, it was the real
Yeah.
world.
He was in there, and but everybody's like, come on. After about the first year or two, I feel like you can let that go.
But it's also how they WWE. Do you remember how WWE would try to get any kind of clip in the mainstream media? Like now it's they clip everything that's online and they show it because it is part of mainstream culture. But there was a time when you talked about wrestling, it was like, huh, nerd. And now it's like it's such a part of the movie scene, Hollywood, what The Rock has done for that. Like it's just part of culture now, right? And so, and that's what I think what they're doing is they're recognizing and building and branding him as that. Like people will say, "Oh, he's not a wrestler." Okay, it's just like they say Trump isn't a politician. It's true. He's a business guy, you know? So he can still play the game though, right? And that's why we're seeing this rise to power with Logan Paul. We're going to continue to see it. Dare I say, an way too early prediction. Not official, unofficial, way too early prediction there. But I love what I'm seeing. This match is great. AJ Styles shines too. This guy knows how to put people over and is freaking believable. And there were times in this match, guys, where I thought, dang, I was wrong. AJ's going to win this one. And that's the beauty of AJ Styles. He's freaking great. Your thoughts?
He gave up the brass studs, which is the most beautiful part. They're trying to tell Machine, he's like, I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to win that way. And then Logan Paul beats him and wins. It was the best way for Logan to win. And it was the right call because, as we mentioned before, AJ's got another year. He's out the door. AJ knows he's out the door. The sun will set on his time here. So he needs to help Logan get to where he needs to be. And AJ was willing to do it. And that was the best way to do it because that's a babyface thing. Like, you know, hey, I've done the heel thing. I've gone down the dark road. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror anymore. And I can't. And he explains it perfectly. Because that's the thing. When you're a babyface, like, no, I'm not going out like that. If I'm going to win, I'm going to win the right way. If I lose, I go out on my sword. It's babyface 101, and it works.
And I'd like to add that right now, with AJ being on the way out, we know he's already said he's not going to wrestle a match when he is 50 years old. He's 49 is his cutoff. He's got next year. I mean, that's it.
Wow.
He's what, 47 now, so he might have 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be 48. I think it'll be 48 next month.
Okay. So yeah, he's got 2 years. That's what he's got left. So if he wins matches, it needs to be against people like Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, people who are already established, so that he could put over the people who they are trying to establish. That is what needs to be happening with AJ right now.
Agreed. 100%. And he's just the guy to do it. No ego. He's always out for the greater good in every situation. And it just seems that way. Like you never hear any of heat about backstage drama. He just seems like a good old boy from Gainesville, Georgia. And you gotta love that.
Closest you've heard to drama from him is when he had issues with Jeff Hardy when Jeff once again messed up in TNA.
Oh, well, anything
And
TNA
even that-
related.
That
Yeah.
everybody, including Jeff, admits that was Jeff's fault.
Yeah. We're all people, right? This next match really, I've never been so happy to be to hint at something happening and be wrong, but also acknowledge the fact that WWE could totally hit us in the back of the head with a steel chair with this Intercontinental Championship match. And Braun versus Penna versus Finn versus Dominic. And listen, I hinted at it. I said, you know, probably not, but what if? What if they are actually going to do this? And they did it. And they sold it. And this match was chef's kiss. Beautifully done. The way it ended was like, it was believable that Dominic could actually pull that off the way it was booked. And also, like, poor Finn. I'm just going to say it, like, damn it, man. What does this guy have to do to get some spec? But y'all's thoughts on this match, how it was done, and moving forward, also your thoughts on Dominic representing the WWE in this way. I mean, we all know he's at autograph signings. He's a great heel, even on the road. I've seen reels of him, you know. It's great. But y'all's thoughts on the match and moving forward?
It was entertaining. It was fun. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. That's what's great. But here's the thing. Here's what really gets me, and I saw some interviews with Triple H and a couple of other people after the fact, right? When he hit that frog splash and got the pin, that crowd popped.
Mhm.
Like the people were excited for it, and like the plan originally was for him to run out, and he went to run out, and Triple H said, "Get back out there. They want to see you." So he went out there, came back out, and then he celebrated for a minute. They wasn't expecting that. Because let's be real here, they booed him ever since he turned on Ray. um, so this was huge. This was a huge moment. And you're talking about what going forward, what this looks like. I think once again, this looks like we're gonna see him turn face. The fans are starting to turn. The fans are starting to turn. They want to. They're enjoying seeing him succeed. And how is it going to happen? We're going to see 1 or 2 title defenses with Dominic winning, and then we're going to see Finn Balor get his comeuppance by turning on Dominic, cementing himself as a heel, but turning Dominic face.
Wow. Wow. I almost feel like the wrestlers aren't turning. I feel like the universe has turned from like faces to heels. I feel like it's all of us watching this guy. And it's me too. Like when that happened, I was like, first of all, I was shocked. But then also I had this like strange kind of like joy. You know, it was almost like this was so unexpected. And also he's the most fun on the mic. He draws the most heat. And like you said, follow the money. He's selling shirts. He's part of another royal wrestling family. You know, we've heard it from Cody, but that's a third one right there. So I love it. I can't wait to see what happens between him and Finn. That was great foreshadowing there, Damascus Dez. And this needs to happen. I'm a little concerned, though, with this turn you're talking about. Like, it's definitely gonna happen. I almost want it to not be so. It has to be gradual. It has to be subtle, right? I want him to be this.
They've already started laying the groundwork for that.
Mhm.
On because when he said when he went up to him, he said, "Oh, it was every man for himself," and Finn was, "Oh no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what happens in Vegas. Stays in Vegas." And they're smiling, and they walk away. Then when they walk away, that face starts to turn. You could tell it's eating him alive. He's not ready to let it show yet, but it is eating him alive. And
Nice and
so that's what I think. We're gonna see some successful title defenses. Dom's gonna hold that title for a short period of time, and then after he's got a few of those defenses under his belt, that's when Finn is gonna turn on him.
Yeah. He's so due for some sort of championship. Listen,
100%.
I mean, we all, in case you didn't know, in case you're just joining the wrestling family here, Finn Balor was the very first, which it's not a lot, this title is not alive anymore, but the very first Universal Champion in WWE, and lost it not because he was booked to lose it, because he got hurt and he willingly gave it up. And so whether you like his stupid character, you know, morphing between Finn Balor and the Demon Finn Balor, or however you want to do it, like the guy is due. He's like so due. And Booch, I want to get your thoughts on this because since day one, when we used to talk about this in the old world of Wenz, you were always up on Finn Balor and his comeuppance. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. Like I felt like he was. I had a feeling, even though Braun Breaker had 149.2% chance of winning, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna win, because if you're gonna take the belt off, and this is the perfect way to do it. And I felt like, okay, maybe Finn Balor, this is his night, because he had been due. Because this is a guy who, you know, like I said, he lost the title because he got injured. And I won't go down that road because he's been down that 100 times, but you know what I mean. So I'm thinking Finn's walking out with this. I was believing Penta, though. The reason I picked him, even though he had a 12.5% chance of winning, I went with Penta because I felt like he's new, he's hot, he's on the trail, he's going to get this. So I honestly believed they were going to go with Penta. And then they ended up going with Dominic. And here's my issue. I get that Dominic is popular. Then again, I also know the WWE Universe booed Cody in one promo. By the end of that promo, they were cheering. So I don't really trust their gauging right now because it's I don't know. I need to see that crowd pop more consistently before I can believe Dominic is popular. Like, or is he just a hot guy, or is he just a hot guy at the prom for that one night? Like, that's the question. So, but also, I've been watching Dominic since he joined the Judgment Day, where he's had two girlfriends, both of which boss him around. I watched this guy get hung upside down like a pinata while Rhea whacks him with a kendo stick. I've watched this guy get tossed around and bumped around and all this other shit, which in some cases entertaining, basically being booked like a simp, and now he's the Intercontinental Champion. Evil Knievel could not make the leap Creative made with this decision. See, for me to believe it, I need to see a storyline where can I see a storyline where Dominic gets his balls and his spine reattached and then make him the Intercontinental Champion? Like, let's give me something in between. Don't just leap from one end to the other end like we're trying to jump Snake River. Can we like give me like a hey, jump over a homeless guy like Eric Cartman, do that a couple times, and then give me Snake River. Like, I felt like it was too fast for me. I couldn't believe it.
I don't think that being a simp for your girl makes you weak when it comes to fighting other men. I think that is a big leap in and of itself. Now, he did get trapped up, hanging upside down and stuck, and then was beat like a pinata. But hell, if you're stuck, what are you gonna do about it? It's not like he was fighting her. He got stuck, and she took advantage of a situation. In all fairness. And she's about twice his size. Let's be real here. Rhea is huge.
Yep.
Rhea is one of the women on that roster that could legitimately fight a lot of the men. I mean, and let's be real here. Liv has been pretty much simping on Dom. It was a complete and total swap with Liv.
And we must not have been watching the same segments because that's not what I've been seeing. Maybe we need to look at it differently, but I'm just saying I'm just saying, like, can you give me a moment where because I didn't feel like Dominic was like he wasn't really booked to be like a champion. Even when he was wrestling, it didn't feel like this guy's at a champion level. So I felt like it was too much of a leap too fast. Like, give me something in between if you're gonna build him to the Intercontinental title. Like, you're saying there's gonna be a face turn. I'm hoping that face turn, if that face turn gets him to where he needs to be, then I can be behind it. So I'm hoping you're right. Like, I'm giving you my thoughts going into the match, but you have no idea how badly I want you to be right. And because if he has that face turn and then goes up to Finn Balor, it's like, okay, here's the spine and the balls being
We have started seeing him stand up to Finn Balor too, though. If you've been watching SmackDown and Raw, he went up. He stood up to. He's been taking a bit of a lead. Say, look, we need a new member. I think Penna's the guy, so I'm going to go talk to him. Even though Finn didn't like it, he went and talked to him. He has been stepping up and trying to take that leadership role. And they've been doing it slowly, but he has definitely been stepping up. And if you haven't seen it, you just haven't been paying attention. It's been subtle. They've been going for subtle because too much too fast is terrible, but it has been happening.
Okay, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes.
And time will tell there. But I'm excited to see what happens with this guy. I'm very excited about what they're going to do with Dominic. And listen, he has the bloodline, no pun intended, to do good things with that title. And he's already over with the crowd. So speaking of Judgment Day fellas, or former Judgment Day fellas, let's talk about this Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Sin City Street Fight. Were you guys into this? I thought it was a cool little gimmick match. Did they do enough of what they wanted them to do, Booch?
They did exactly what I wanted them to do. It perfectly. It was a fight. There were weapons. Things were done believable. Things were appropriate. I liked it. That was exactly what I needed to be. They didn't go out there and wrestle. They didn't do any stupid moves. They just grabbed a bunch of weapons and fucking beat the shit out of each other. So that's what needed to happen. And the Claymore into the chair was brilliant. I love the when he wrapped the chair around the neck and went for the move, and then Damian just choke slammed him like right as he was running at him. Like, this was a brilliant street fight. This is the fight. And it's exactly what it needed to be. It was the exact length it needed to be, and the right person went over. So this was they couldn't have booked this any better.
Yeah, 100% in agreement. Des, your take.
It was a good match. We're seeing we're seeing more of what we needed to see. Drew McIntyre needs this realistically. And I would love to see more of this, but I think it's time for these two guys to go their separate ways. They've been feuding for a while, and I think that we can have plenty of different feuds coming up. I would love to see some LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre. I'd love to see maybe I'd love to see a feud between Damian Priest and God, any number of heels currently on the roster. But the match itself, it wasn't the excitement that I expected when I saw it on paper, because I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be a brutal match, and it had its moments, but where it fell on the card, it couldn't have been what I thought it was gonna be. It was still ended up being a bit of a cool down match. So it was, great match, but it was after the big fatal 4-way, it was kind of hard to be super excited about it at that point.
Yeah, totally. The order of the match. This is a total cool down match, but mission accomplished. You know, I'm kind of wondering about this next match and why I didn't see this coming, and why I thought, a former WWE, well, a Hall of Fame WWE guy who's now a mayor of a city would show up at WrestleMania and not think ahead to, hey, what's up, Junior Lycan? What's going on?
Hello.
Hey, buddy. So I was wondering why I didn't think about who would have made sense when Joe Hendry, when his music popped. I was just like, why did I not think of this? It was so freaking simple. But nobody did on our team.
None of us did.
So, but y'all's thoughts on this? First of all, I was watching some of the heat after the match on social. A lot of people thought that they buried Hendry. A lot of people thought it wasn't right the way they did him with Randy. You're chomping at the bit, Des. You go first. Go ahead.
First off, the thing I'm mad about for myself is when KO was taken out of the picture, this being Randy's 20th WrestleMania, I felt so dumb to think that Randy was going to lose in the first place. So that being said, I still think Aleister Black was a good thought process, because I knew he was returning. And when I made that call, they hadn't announced the exact date of his return yet, and then they did immediately after. I'm like, you son of a bitch. It is what it is. But I should have known Randy was going to win when KO was no longer going to be in the match with him. To me, that looking at it, hindsight's 2020. I should have known better. That being said, I am one of the people that do believe that match was a little bit short. And I wouldn't have thought this if Joe Hendry wasn't the TNA champion. If it was just Joe Hendry coming in and getting a pop for the fans and, taking over and giving a moment, that would have been fine. But with Joe Hendry being the TNA champion, it feels to me like that was a slight on TNA as a company, with it being that quick of a match. That being said, Joe Hendry was happy with it. I watched an interview where he talked about how he got to have a match with somebody that it was one of his dream matches, having a match with Randy Orton, and he got to have it at WrestleMania, his first ever WrestleMania. So he is very happy with it. And he said the way that it happened was great because it was Randy taking advantage of Hendry getting cocky, and he took an RKO, and he was happy to take that loss that way. Like I said, the only reason I had issue with it was because Hendry was the TNA champion. Otherwise, he's a new guy. Taking a loss to Randy Orton quickly isn't a big deal. but being the TNA World Champion to me looks bad on TNA.
Booch, I gotta say, right now, you look like you're on a parking deck next to the old world of Wenz. Is this Buckhead that you're in?
I'm in Buckhead, yeah.
Yeah, I saw those towers. Are you by 2970?
I'm around the corner. If I take a couple lefts, I'll be at the old world. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I recognize that. I recognize that. Oh, wow. Very, very cool. Yeah, Booch, your thoughts on Randy Orton and Joe Hendry?
It's ironic. You say his name and he appears, but no one said his name, and he showed up anyway. So beautiful thing. Uh, Nobody saw this coming. I I went crazy for it. Joe Hendry, the pop that this man got, the amazing reception he received. Even Randy's kind of looking around like, damn, okay. So so I'm supposed to take him seriously? Okay, thank you for letting me know. Like this isn't a random guy. Okay, we like him. All right. It's like Randy kind of looked around like, all right. I mean, because at first you kind of looking at him like, who the hell are you? It's like, okay, I should know who the hell are you because y'all are getting really loud. So it was beautifully done. I mean, could the match have gone longer? Yes. Could I would have loved to have seen a couple more spots from Joe, but again, if he's not mad, what are we going to be mad for? So I I think it was great. I mean, I knew Joe Hendry wasn't going to win, and I feel like this was more of a exposure for TNA more than anything. And it was like, hey, we're going to give you the big. It's more about getting the pop, and sometimes in wrestling, that's what they're looking for. Like I know, like, and I'll go back to when Buff and I did that battle royal for GCW, and the whole even though Buff had a bad leg at the time and could not do anything, the whole point of him coming out there was to get the legend WCW legend pop. Then they super kicked him and got him out of there. So that was the whole point. Was just let's get this pop so the crowd is on their feet. He's like, oh, if he showed up, who else is coming? So that was their mindset. It's kind of with that, like that's the thing. We had two mystery people in Becky Lynch and Joe Hendry, none of which we saw coming. So that is one thing I will give Triple H credit for. He found a way to swerve everybody because Joe Hendry found out a week in advance that he was doing this. So he had a week where he had to sit on it and tell no one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great. It was a great moment for Joe. It was a great moment for WrestleMania, and it was a feel good moment. And the fans were happy. Randy Orton picking up Joe Hendry, raising his hand up, and kind of pulling the old Stone Cold and dropping him again.
Yeah.
But then he pats him on the chest like, good job, and then does his celebratory thing. So the match did what it needed to do.
Can we talk about Randy doing the Joe Hendry turn into his taunt?
Yes.
That was great. I did love that. It was like I said, it was fun. It was a fun match. It was we knew I should have known Randy was going to win going into this because of KO, and I didn't call that, and I feel stupid about that. But the match was fun.
Yeah. Very fun, very fast too, just over 3 minutes. The longest match of the night is the one we've yet to talk about, but let's do it now. No better time than the present, as the guy you can't see somehow won his 17th championship, surpassing Ric Flair on the all-time list, and is now the undisputed WWE champion and is guaranteeing to walk out of WWE with that championship. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but I love it, and he's so good. And I love this thing between him and Randy Orton now. Let's talk about that after, I guess, if you guys want to talk about this. This is no shocker. All three of us selected John Cena to win this match at Mania. He did. And listen, Cody will survive. I saw some outlandish comments on Twitter around Cody, like, oh, you failed. Like, anybody that didn't see John Cena winning this from a storyline perspective, it could have been anybody as champion. John Cena, his last year, you better dang believe he's going to be champion. He'll lose it before he leaves, but they're not going to have him chasing it for a year. Get it early and then lose it late. Y'all's thoughts on this match at WrestleMania 41 that headlined Night 2?
Uh, the biggest thing that I saw a lot of people complain about, the match was not an exciting match, and it wasn't. I look, John Cena is really good about hyping the crowd when he's a face, but he's not a face anymore. He doesn't want to hype the crowd. He's going to take the shortcuts. He's going to do what he needs to win this title. He knew that he's been on a 7-year losing streak on singles matches,
Nice.
and we knew that he knew he wasn't going to be able to out wrestle Cody Rhodes. They've made that point very, very clear. This was all about showing what Cena was willing to do to take that belt from Cody Rhodes. And they did it. And I understand people think that, oh, this was a boring match, and they closed out the night on a boring match, but they closed out the night on a 17th world record breaking championship match where Cody Rhodes loses the title after holding it for a year. And so, I mean, it makes sense. I understand that people are mad about it, and it wasn't the most fun match of the night, but it did exactly what it needed to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It wasn't a shocker. I agree it wasn't the most exciting match of the night, but like you said, mission accomplished. Booch, your thoughts on this, champ?
It was very well done. I mean, obviously the match did exactly what it needed to do. I mean, Cena and Cody went through the motions. Cena did what he had to do. I love the fact that he begged at the end. I've never seen John Cena beg for his life. And Cody sitting there being conflicted because he said, like, are you going to do what it takes to win? Or are you going to be the hero? And Cody was just, he couldn't bring himself to do it, which is great. I mean, it's great storytelling. It's like in a movie where you see the guy, he picks up the gun, he's about to point at the guy's head, and every fire being saying, pull the trigger, but he's like, I can't do it. Like, they just can't bring himself to stoop to his level and pull that trigger.
that's why you lose.
Yes. And
Yep.
Cena kicked him and then knocked him out. Honestly, the stuff I have to complain about is really Travis Scott. I don't know what the heck was going on with him. He was not, I think he needed to be trained on how to do run-ins. Like, you can't just bring in celebrities that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Also, never thought it was possible for me to hate The Rock as much as I do right now. Because the moment this man went on the Pat McAfee show, he said some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard a wrestling legend say about talking about how, like, I wasn't needed for the finish of this match. You literally are inserted yourself into this feud. It exists because of you. And it's the missing piece of this entire thing is, why did you sell your soul to The Rock? Why is The Rock involved in this? Why did you need The
Here's the
Rock?
thing.
The Rock's not there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Cena never said he sold his soul to The Rock. We assumed it. Cena, when he's talked about why he did what he did to Cody, he never mentioned The Rock. Not one time.
Yes, but he's standing next to him when he
Only
turned heel and helping
that
him
one night. Only that one night when he did what he needed to do to set himself up. But at no other point has he said anything about The Rock. So maybe that was the only thing he needed for The Rock, just to make his point.
Yeah, like the Rock was the gatekeeper to allow him to get what he wants ultimately. And you're right, I haven't heard much simping for The Rock. Cena hasn't come out and said, you know, he's the people's champ. He is the final boss, and I do what the final boss says. And you know, if I like, he hasn't addressed it yet. I definitely see it happening because you know Rock was asked about that in an interview after Mania, and he said he didn't want to steal the spotlight. He wanted it to be about John Cena, which fine, great, but you're gonna catch heat either way. You come there, you steal the limelight. You know, he's the final boss. He gets to make the decisions. I will definitely say that, and I will die on this sword. Cody kicking out of four attitude adjustments is insanity. It's insanity. I get maybe what, like I said, one, you kick out of one and it's a big deal. We need to bring it back to that, guys. Like, this has become a spot fest. Like, I have to be.
Well, in all fairness, Cena's attitude adjustment has not been a finisher since 2 years before he went part-time. It has legitimately been he has to hit 2 or 3 of them back to back to get a win, unless it's a nobody. No, I mean with Cody Rhodes, after everything he went through with Roman Reigns, yeah. After how many?
Well, and here's the thing. He never kicked out of the Crossroads.
Not once.
There was one, he got hit. There was no referee. Second time, Travis Scott pulled the referee out. So people talk about Cody getting hurt in this match. He kicked out of Cena's finish, and his was protected completely. And he got kicked in the nuts, got hit in the head with a belt, 1, 2, 3. So no, Cody did not get destroyed. If anything, it elevated his finisher more than anything else.
I didn't say he got destroyed. I would say that.
I'm talking about the fans who say that, not you.
Yeah, well, they're not paying attention to the greater good, what they're trying to accomplish.
I think we're going to see a lot of this year with John Cena as a heel. We're going to see a lot of John Cena being Al Snow here. They thought the snowplow was his finish. It wasn't. He hit him on the head they hit him with the head. Cena did the attitude adjustment is not Cena's finish right now. He's going to cheat.
Well, what does everybody want? I mean, they definitely want to see Cena continue to troll the WWE universe and do his countdown. And it's epic. And listen, what we're seeing, and I agree with this elongated entrance of Travis Scott. And also, is he has to be a mainstay now at every title defense. Because without it, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you do it there and then not continue it on? I'm not saying they're not going to, but just something to keep an eye out for. But also,
just because it's Mania.
Huh?
Realistically, just because it's Mania.
Yeah. I mean, the whole elongated, longer than the Undertaker walk down the ramp was ridiculous. Like you said.
And that's because he wasn't meant to actually be involved. He was just a distraction. He took Cody's eye off the ball.
Yeah.
That was all he did.
He definitely did. Booch, we're live in the Booch's dressing room here. This is awesome. Behind the scenes as dude preps for whatever. What are you doing tonight? What do you got going on?
I got a Zoom meeting in a few minutes. I'm going to be interviewing a animator for a cartoon I'm working on. So
awesome, man.
So I'm changing into the collared shirt for that one because I got to look more business for that one.
What is you said you're the new champion and you can't dress up for this show? What's going on?
Hey, I got to plug the merch. I got to plug the merch.
Yep, you got to roll.
I got to roll. We talked about the last match. My boy is over here hungry. I got to take him to dinner. I love you very much.
Absolutely.
That title's coming back home with me. Backlash is only like about a week away. So, it's all right.
Woo! There it is. On behalf of Damascus Desmond and Vincent Kennedy Bucci, it's yours truly, the Wenz, saying, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
I'll be back.